Shamunk approached and saw the inscriptions, the tablet of honored father Devaraja Li, and the tablet of honored brother the third prince. "What's the meaning of this?" he asked. "It's something to which the monster spirit makes offerings," replied Pilgrim. "When I broke into her residence, I found that both persons and things had disappeared. There was only this plaque. She has to be the daughter of Devaraja Li, the younger sister of the third prince, who has descended to the region below out of profane longings. Disguised as a fiend, she has abducted our master. If we don't demand of the persons whose names appear on this plaque, whom should we ask? While the two of you stand guard here, let Old Monkey take the plaque and go up to heaven to file charges before the Jade Emperor. That'll make Devaraja Li and his son return our master." "Oh, elder brother," said 8 Rules. "As the proverb says, to charge someone with a mortal offense is itself a mortal offense. You can't do it unless your cause is just. Besides, do you think that filing charges before the throne is an easy thing? You'd better tell me how you plan to go about it." "I have my way," said Pilgrim with a laugh. "This plaque and this urn I shall use as evidence. In addition, I shall file a formal, written complaint." "What are you going to put in that complaint?" asked 8 Rules. "Let's hear it," Pilgrim said. "This is what I plan to say. The plaintiff Sun Wukong, whose age and birthday are recorded here in the document, is the disciple of the priest Tripitaka Tang, who has been sent by the Tang court in the land of the east to seek scriptures in the western heaven. The complaint I lodge concerns the crime of abetting a monster in kidnapping a human. I hereby accuse Li Jing, the pagoda bearer Devaraja, along with Prince his son, of gross negligence in domestic affairs, which caused his own daughter to become a runaway. At the region below she had assumed the form of monstrous perversity in the bottomless cave of Mount Void, entrapping, bringing vexation and harm to countless humans. She has, at the moment, abducted my master into the crooked recesses of her habitation, where he cannot be found at all. I have no choice but to charge father and son with an act of great atrocity, for allowing the daughter to become a spirit and to harm people. I beg you, therefore, to sustain in your great mercy my complaint and arrest the culprits, so that perversity may be brought to submission, my master may be rescued, and the guilt of the offenders may be clearly established. In anticipation of your kind assistance, I hereby submit my complaint." On hearing these words, 8 Rules and Shamunk were terribly pleased, both saying, "Oh, elder brother, your complaint is most reasonable. You will undoubtedly win the case. You'd better go there at once, for we fear that a little delay may result in the monster spirit's taking our master's life." I'll hurry," said Pilgrim. "It'll take me no more than the time needed for boiling tea, or at most for rice to be cooked, to get back here. Dear great sage." Holding the plaque and the urn, he leapt up to mount the auspicious cloud and went straight before the south heaven gate. When Devaraja's powerful and Dh Ra, who were standing guard at the gate, saw him, both bent low to bow to him and dared not bar his way. He was permitted to go straight up to the Hall of Perfect Light, where he was greeted by Zhang, Ge, Shi, and Qiu, the 4 celestial masters. "Why has the great sage come?" they asked. "I have a document here," replied Pilgrim, "which I intend to file as a formal complaint." "This caster of blame," said one of the astonished masters. "I wonder whom he plans to accuse." They had no choice but to lead him into the Hall of Divine Mists to announce his arrival. He was then summoned into the presence of the Jade Emperor. After putting down the plaque and the urn and paying homage to the throne, he presented his plaint, which the immortal Ge received and spread out on the imperial desk. When the Jade Emperor had read its content from beginning to end, he signed the document and endorsed it as an imperial decree. Then he commanded Gold Star Venus, Longevity of the West, to take the decree and go to the Cloud Tower Palace to summon Devaraja Li, the pagoda bearer, to appear before the throne. "I beg the Heaven Lord to punish him properly," said Pilgrim, walking forward. "Or else he may start some other trouble." The Jade Emperor gave this order also. Let the plaintiff go along. Should Old Monkey really go along? Asked Pilgrim. Since His Majesty has already issued the decree, said one of the celestial masters. You may go with the gold star. Pilgrim indeed mounted the clouds with the gold star to reach the Cloud Tower Palace, which was, you see, the residence of the Devaraja. There was a divine youth standing in front of the gate who recognized the gold star. He went inside at once and announced, "The Holy Father Gold Star Venus has arrived." The Devaraja went out to meet his guest. When he saw that the gold star was bearing an imperial decree, he asked immediately for incense to be lighted. Then he caught sight of Pilgrim following the gold star in, and the Devaraja stirred with anger. Why was he angered, you ask? During the time when Pilgrim caused great disturbance at the celestial palace, the Jade Emperor once appointed the Devaraja as the demon-subduing Grand Marshal and Prince Na-A as the god of the Three Charities Grand Assembly. They were to lead the heaven hosts against Pilgrim, but they could not prevail even after several engagements. The defeat of 500 years ago, you see, still rankled him, and that was why he became angry. Unable to restrain himself, he asked, "Old Longevity, what's that decree you're bearing?" "It happens to be a complaint," replied the gold star, "lodged against you by the great sage Sun." The Devaraja was already sorely annoyed. When he heard this, he became enraged, saying, "What's he accusing me of?" "The crime of abetting a monster in kidnapping a human," replied the gold star. "After you've lit the incense, you may read it for yourself." Panting hard, the Devaraja hurriedly set out the incense table. After he had expressed his gratitude toward the sky and kowtowed, he spread out the decree. A careful reading of the document, however, sent him into such a rage that he gripped the table with both hands and said, "This ape head. He has so wrongly accused me." The gold star said, "Don't get so mad. He happens to have a plaque and an urn for evidence before the throne, and he claims that all those objects point to your own daughter. But I have only 3 sons and a daughter," said the Devaraja. "The eldest is Suvarna, who serves Tathagata as the vanguard of the law. My second son is Mak, who is the disciple of Guangxuying at South Sea. My third son Na-A is with me and attends court night and day as an imperial guardsman. My only daughter, named Zhenying, happens to be only 7 years old. She doesn't even know much of human affairs. How could she be a monster spirit? If you don't believe me, let me carry her out for you to see. This ape head is mighty insolent. Let's not say that I am a marshal in heaven, who has received such a high appointment that I'm permitted to execute someone first before memorializing to the throne. Even if I were one of the common people in the region below, I should not be falsely accused. The law says a false accusation should receive a thrice heavy penalty." He turned to his subordinates with the order, "Tie up this ape head with the fiend binding rope." The mighty spirit god, General Fishbelly, and Marshal Varayak, who were standing in a row down at the courtyard, immediately surged forward and tied up Pilgrim. "Devaraja Li," said the gold star, "you'd better not start any trouble. He is one of the 2 persons decreed by the throne to come here to summon you. That rope of yours is quite heavy. If you hurt him in any way, you'll be the loser." "Oh gold star," said the Devaraja, "how could you allow him to file false charges and disturb the peace like that? Please be seated while I cut off this ape head with the fiend hacking scimitar. Then I'll return with you to see the throne." When the gold star learned that he was about to raise the scimitar, his heart quivered and his bladder shook as he said to Pilgrim, "You've made a mistake. Filing charges before the throne is no light thing. Why didn't you try to ascertain the truth first? All your foolish doings now may cause you to lose your life. What'll you do?" Not frightened in the least, Pilgrim said, full of smiles, "Relax, old minister, it's nothing. Old Monkey has to do his own business this way. He must lose first, and then he'll win. Hardly had he finished speaking when the Devaraja wielded his scimitar and brought it down hard on Pilgrim's head. All at once the third prince rushed forward and parried the blow with the fiend-hacking sword, crying, "Father King, please calm your anger." The Devaraja turned pale with alarm. When the father saw the son parrying the scimitar with his own sword, he should have commanded the son to turn back. Why should he turn pale with alarm? This is the reason, you see. When this child was born to the Devaraja, he had on his left hand the word Na, and on his right the word and that was why he was named Na. On the third morning after he was born, this prince already decided to bathe in the ocean and caused a great disaster. He overturned the water crystal palace and wanted to pull out the tendons of one of the dragons to use them for a belt. When the Devaraja learned of the incident, he feared that his son might prove to be a calamity afterward, and sought to have him killed. Na became enraged. Knife in hand, he cut off his own flesh to give it back to his mother, and carved up his bones to give them back to his father. After he had, as it were, repaid his father's sperm and his mother's blood, his soul went to the region of ultimate bliss in the west to complain to Buddha.